Furthermore, we have some marketing campaigns to configure now, so we'll dive right into the marketing SMS campaigns. So the way SMS campaigns work is under marketing, under campaigns, HiveMind would have provided you with quite a few existing SMS campaigns. There are campaigns that you can have a 27-day seller drip campaign, you can have a separate mailer campaign, etc., etc. Well, what I like to do is I like to create an SMS campaign from scratch. I'm going to show you what these campaigns look like, and if you scroll around in your own installation, you'll see that these campaigns contain messages that get sent out as a drip, followed by phone calls, followed by automatic emails, etc., etc. Now, we're not going to be using such a complex marketing campaign. We're going to keep it very simple, and we're simply going to create a new campaign that's only going to contain SMS messages. And what we are going to do is we're going to say this campaign is a SMS drip campaign that drips over 7 days, for instance. You can have different kinds of SMS campaigns. You can have an SMS campaign that just sends a single message. You can have SMS campaigns that just sends one initial message and follows up after 2 or 3 days. And in our case, what we'll do is we'll create an SMS campaign that sends 3 messages over a course of 7 days, so we don't come across as spamming anyone. You can create a folder and put your personalized campaigns within a folder, or you can choose not to put them in a folder and they just appear at the very bottom of your campaigns list. So as soon as you create your campaign, it takes you inside the campaign configuration. And as you can see, this campaign is in draft status right now. It hasn't been published. There are some actions where you can copy a campaign and create a duplicate campaign and make minor changes to it. And there are campaign configuration settings that we're going to dive into shortly. But first, let's go ahead and start creating the campaign itself. So first and foremost, while there are so many different options available here, you can leave them voicemails. You can have a active phone call go out if you have someone available to man those phone calls. You can even send emails or messenger messages if your Facebook is connected. If you've connected your Google My Business account with HiveMind, you can even send them a message through Google My Business, which is very cool. I have not used this before. But what we're interested in is this SMS. So this now here is asking us to configure a SMS message template that HiveMind will send to the users or the sellers, the prospects that we associate with this campaign. You have the ability to have pre-built messaging templates, but here we're going to build a message template from scratch, a SMS message from scratch. So what I like to do is I say, hi, custom values here allow you to use values from your existing database of records you have imported into HiveMind. So any contacts that you have imported, you can reference these variables in your SMS messages. So when you do send that message, it automatically populates, for instance, the contact's first name. From HiveMind's perspective, it's important to know that you yourself are a user, and the prospect that you're trying to contact is a contact. Very important distinction. The user is not the seller. The user is one of your team members who has access to your CRM, who has an account on the CRM, and the contact is a prospect. So we chose contact.first name, and this message will say, hi, John, for instance. Let's say we have a contact named John Smith. Hi, John. I have been meaning to reach out to you about, I generally like to insert property address, but in some cases it's possible that the property may not have a valid address. Either your records are incomplete or you're going after land. In that situation, I would simply say I have been meaning to reach out to you about your property in city. But if you're going after single family homes, I would highly recommend using the property street address. So you can say, hi John, I've been meaning to reach out to you about contact address 1. This is where we will import the property address into when we import data, which we'll see subsequently here. So again, our message says, hi John, I've been meaning to reach out to you about contact address 1. Wanted to see if we could talk about it. Hi John, I've been meaning to reach out to you about 123 Main Street. Wanted to see if we could talk about it. I don't like to use keywords like I want to buy your property, would you sell me your property, can I make you an offer, I have a cash offer, I'm a cash buyer. Some of those keywords are filtered by the carriers so as to cut down the amount of spam that goes through text messaging. So keeping it simple is going to ensure maximum deliverability. And if these messages don't end up giving you the type of response you're looking for, you can always come back in these templates, in these SMS campaigns, and come and change it. What you could also do is you could do something like, I've been meaning to reach out to you about this property, and not say anything, and force the seller, the prospect, to respond to you. Or you could say, hey, John, I previously messaged you, but I did not hear back. In a message like this, you're basically making it ambiguous enough to where you're going to force John to wonder, did I receive a message? Who is this person? Or I never received a message. I'm not sure what you're talking about. But either way, they're going to attempt to respond back to you. This is a tactic that sometimes does work, but it can also appear to the seller as something perhaps dishonest or something that they probably don't expect or did not expect the conversation to be about. So I would refrain from using a message like this, especially if you're running your first few campaigns. So let's keep it simple. We'll say, hi John, I had been meaning to reach out to you about custom values, contact address 1. Can we talk about it today? And something simple like that. I mean, as you can see, the message conveyed here is that, hey, I'm trying to get in touch with you about your property. Let's chat about it. And then you simply hit save, and this message gets saved as your first message in your sequence, in your 7-day sequence. Next up, we're going to do the same thing and have a follow-up text message sent out. And we can say something even simpler here and say, hey, still waiting to hear back from you. I would love to chat about custom values, contact address 1. I am very interested. Some people say that interested is a keyword that can be commonly found in sales conversations. So it's not recommended to use that. I've been using these in my text messages and I've not really seen a problem. But if you wanted to be extra cautious, you can just say, I am waiting for a callback. Hey, still waiting to hear back from you. I would love to chat about 123 Main Street. waiting for a callback or something like, let's come to an agreement on. Hit save. And as you can notice, the first SMS message is being sent at 0 minutes in this campaign, meaning this message gets sent out immediately. And SMS 2 also is being sent out immediately. We don't want that. We don't want both messages going out at the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, send the second message 2 days after the first message. We don't want John to be bothered the same day or the very next day. We want to give John some time to think about who is this person, should they be contacting me, and give him enough time in case he's busy. So 2 days after the first message, a second message goes out. And likewise, what we're going to do is we're going to create another message which will now go out 4 or 5 days after the second message. So SMS 3 now says, hey, contact first name. In case you are busy, we can always circle back later. Just wanted to say I would still like to talk to you about address 1. That's all it's got to say. So now you have the first message going out, a second message going out 2 days after the previous message, and the last message in our sequence. We don't want to send this message out right away. We want to send this message out, let's say, 4 or 5 days after the second message was sent out, just so we can have some gap in follow-up. And feel free to customize this however you want to. This is just a sample format. You could add a bunch of new messages to the sequence and have your entire drip going on for a whole month until they get tired of you. But this is a simple sequence I would use. And I would also then go to campaign configurations and make sure that these messaging campaigns do not run at weird hours. And you want to make sure that these campaigns run, let's say, during business hours or a time that would not be too early in the morning and also not too late in the evening, so it bugs people while they're having dinner, etc. I generally like to send text messages between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. and I don't like to bother people on Sundays. If you do, you can select Sunday. I'm going to keep Sunday off. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a phone number user that we previously created to this texting campaign so that we can use that number as an outbound phone number for this SMS campaign. You can select multiple phone numbers and the system will simply round robin between these two phone numbers as it contacts multiple people, different people. It won't send the same person 2 messages from two of these different numbers or each of these numbers. One contact will always get a text message sent to them sourced from this one number. The second contact in your campaign will get text messages sent from the second number and continue to receiving all subsequent messages in this campaign from the second number. You can choose to have a next campaign, but in our case, we don't want to have automatic follow-ups. We want to manually follow up with people if they don't respond to us, depending upon what their response to us was. And one more thing we're going to do is we're going to add some tags to people who we have attempted to already contact through this campaign. So one of the tags that we created called contacted is going to be applied as this campaign is run. And I'm also going to select allow multiple. What this would do is allow me to send the same contact to this campaign again if I so wanted to in a month in 2 months, in 6 months, etc. And you also want to have stop on response selected so that if somebody does respond to your very first message, they don't, the system does not continually or continue to send them message number 2, message number 3. That wouldn't make any sense. You don't have to configure an event start. As long as you have a window defined, this SMS campaign will not run outside of these hours. You have your phone number users associated with this campaign, so your campaign can use these numbers as a source, as source phone numbers. You don't really need to have a next campaign. You could if you had an immediate second campaign that you wanted every contact to be sent to, but this could get confusing. This could get hard to track. Once you've gained some experience with this platform, you could make use of this and select a subsequent campaign. But most importantly, you want to make sure anybody that gets sent through this campaign, the system tags them as contacted. So we know who we have contacted and who are yet to be contacted. That's all it is. We hit save. We go from draft to published status, and we hit back here. And now in the bottom, we have a new SMS strip campaign for 7 days, which we can use for our SMS marketing. In the next video, I'm going to go over data, and then once we have that data, we can start messaging people.